These are 5 of the most controversial decisions on the channel so far. If you are a new viewer, let us know what you think of them, and stick around to the end to hear what John Brooks, the Premier League referee, said about one of them.
We get a red card, my first ever red card for serious foul play. So let's break the tackle down and I'll explain why I've given a red card. When looking for serious foul play, there are a few considerations that I'm thinking of that I want to highlight before we watch this back. One of them is the location of contact. Can it be serious foul play if contact is on the head? Yes. Can it be serious foul play if the contact is on the foot? Yes. However, depending on where the contact is on the body, the threshold for other things lowers, right? So contact on the head, I'm also taking into account the amount of force that's used in the tackle. But if contact's on the head, that threshold for force is way, way lower. Whereas if contact is on the foot, the threshold for force will be slightly higher. It's not a perfect science. Obviously, as referees, we're making a judgment call on a split-second decision that we see in real time, and so that's what I've done. But considerations really are speed and force of the challenge, the location of contact, how their own body and foot is positioned, ground conditions, temperature of the game. There are all sorts of things that we're taking into account when we see a tackle. Now, I want to be really careful not to slow things down because ultimately everything looks worse in slow motion when we talk about tackles, but I am just going to highlight the point of contact that I saw after the lad had played the ball. He plays the ball, and then as he's sliding through, he makes contact with the leg about here. That's where the number 11's foot moves, so that's probably where contact was. As you can see, the point of contact is really high. Okay, it's high up on the shin, just below the knee, and he's already cleared the ball. For me, this is serious foul play. I think this endangers the safety of the opponent. I don't think there's any reason for his foot to be there after he clears the ball. For me, a natural movement of when he clears the ball is for his foot to go sideways, not for his foot to be lifted upwards. Usually when you slide and kick the ball, your foot would come round, it would really go up. It's a really dangerous movement, and you'll see that as soon as he makes the tackle, he's instantly onto the player. He knows that the tackle is not good, and you'll hear the scream from the lad who's on the other end of it as well. By the time I'd blown the whistle, I'd already decided it was a red card. It was very, very clear to me. And then you'll hear the shouts from the sidelines. They're obviously really upset with the tackle as well. For me, it's a clear red card. Yeah, and serious foul play. So a Painswick player goes down with an injury. So we stop play so he can receive treatment, and we restart with a drop ball to the goalkeeper. Then we make a monumental error. Let's watch. For those of you that don't know, a drop ball is a way in which the referee restarts play after stopping the game for something like an injury. So the referee drops the ball, and then when the ball hits the floor, game restarts and we play. So we drop the ball for the goalkeeper, and as you can see, he grabs it before the ball hits the floor. I then give an indirect free kick. So why is this a problem? When you have a drop ball, game has not restarted until the ball hits the floor. By law, if a player touches the ball before the ball hits the ground, the referee just has to drop the ball again. I knew that you're not allowed to grab the ball before it hit the floor. I knew it was an offence. I knew you weren't allowed to do it. And my logic told me, well, it can't be a penalty because it's not a foul. It's a non-contact offence. It must be an indirect free kick. But this is completely wrong. You are supposed to drop the ball again so then the goalkeeper can pick it up off the floor. To make matters worse, you will see that a civil service player is standing in the wall. If the opposing team have a wall of 3 or more defenders, any opposition player must be at least 1 yard away. And as we can see, he's not. So as this ball is played, he's less than a yard away from the wall, which means that now it's actually an indirect free kick to Painswick. So that's another mistake. Then the ball gets struck and there's a big handball shout. And as we can see, it strikes the Painswick player's arm. For me, his arm was in close to his body. He's turned around, but his arm's tucked in close to his body. So for me, this isn't handball. We say no and we play. in the grand scheme of the game, doesn't really matter, right? It didn't affect the result. It didn't have a big impact on the game, but being wrong in law is just so bad. If we were getting assessed, this was an automatic fail. Like, you can't score well if you don't know the rules properly. So I will be making more of an effort to read over the laws and make sure that they are ingrained in my mind. I think my logic was solid. We got to the step where we knew it wasn't a penalty due to the nature of the offence. So we came to the conclusion that it's an indirect free kick. However, for a drop ball, as we now know, that's not the case. None of the players knew. I didn't know, which just shows how hard it can be to understand all the rules, but it's absolutely no excuse. If I want to referee at a good level, I need to have them ingrained in my mind.
So we then have a foul right in front of the benches and something really interesting happens. So you'll see that the lad deliberately steps on the number 8's hand. From the aerial view, it's very clear that he deliberately steps on his hand. From my angle, I didn't see the actual contact with the foot and the hand, but based on the reaction and the reaction of the bench, you could pretty much guarantee that he had actually stepped on him. We blow our whistle and we get in there very quickly to defuse it because it's in front of the benches and obviously they're already 4-0 up, so there's not really much for the Finton players to lose at this point. So we bring him away from the situation. To give ourselves time to think, we call the captain in as well, and we tell him to stay here. At this point, I'm going through my mind, okay, is this violent conduct? Is it just unsporting behaviour? I came to the conclusion that with, 5 minutes left, I think I can manage this with a yellow card. If you step on someone's foot, if you just step on their foot, is that violent conduct? I don't think so. So is it different because it's his hand? Maybe, but I don't think it met the threshold for violent conduct personally. You guys may disagree in that, you'd be totally within your rights to do that. But for me, I thought I could manage this game out with just a yellow card. So we pull the captain and him in and we explain to him, okay, as far as I'm aware, I believe that he stepped on his hand. So you're going to get a yellow card. If I see anything like that again, I will send you into the dressing room. And so we show him a yellow card and yeah, that's that. I'm really interested to know what you guys think. Do you think there should be is this a sending off offence? Do you think it meets the threshold for violent conduct? Or do you think you can, issue a yellow card here? Please let me know.
We then get the number 9's third offence. So why have I given him a yellow card? As this ball comes in, it's very clear that the goalkeeper is going to go up and win the ball, right? There's no real challenge for the number 9. Okay, the goalkeeper's got it in his hands now, and then the number 9 comes in and makes contact with the goalkeeper. I heard the sound of shin pads colliding. From the angle, it's kind of hard to tell because of the blur, but I heard the sound of shin pads, and so for me, I thought it was a bit more of a physical challenge than it actually was. Even so, he still collides with the goalkeeper late and it's his third offence. And so we pull out the yellow card so everybody knows that we're going to give it. And that way it settles this kind of small bit of afters. We then tell players to move away so we can isolate the player and issue the caution. And then we tell the goalkeeper to move away as well. Whilst I issue the caution. So that's number 9's third offence and his first yellow card. Here's his fourth offence. Ball comes in and then the number 9 goes to challenge the number 2 for the ball. He tries to come around him and the ball doesn't really move anywhere, and so for me, this was a foul. They say that he got the ball, and while I don't disagree that he may have made contact with the ball, the speed in which he's come into the challenge, I would anticipate that ball to move a lot more than it did. So for me, this is a foul. As players are coming in, we tell them to move away and not crowd me, and then we go and check on the player to make sure he's all right. We then pull the number 9 in after this and just explain, look mate, I'm not disputing the fact that you may have touched the ball, but for me, you've come through the side of the player to win it, and so that's why I've given a foul. Then the number 9 does this.
Pull it back! Will, one run, Will!
I had a terrible habit of thinking they were going to play up the pitch long, and so you'll see that I don't actually have my eyes on play at all. I'm running up and I'm about to turn. As I turn my head, that's when the action happens. If this would have happened 2 seconds before I turned around, I'd have had no idea what had happened because I didn't have eyes on the ball. Never, ever take your eyes off play like I did here. Second to that, the goalkeeper goes to release the ball and the number 9 runs in front of him to prevent him from doing it. As you can see, the reaction is they want him gone. They want him second yellow off the pitch. I tell all the players to move away and I pull the captains in, okay? So I tell everybody else to go away, and I bring the captain in, and the captain of the red team and the captain of the blue team. Why didn't I show him a second yellow card? So what does it say in law? An indirect free kick is awarded if a player prevents the goalkeeper from releasing the ball from the hands, or kicks or attempts to kick the ball when the goalkeeper is in the process of releasing it. So that's the offence that this player's committed. He's ran in front of the goalkeeper to prevent him from releasing the ball. Contrary to popular belief, this is not a mandatory yellow card. What he's doing is not reckless, okay? It's not dangerous in any way to the player. So there's no reason for me to give a yellow card. He's not stopping a promising attack. We can't call a promising attack when the goalkeeper's got it in his hand in his own box. That just doesn't meet the criteria for that. And so this is effectively the same as just a careless foul, right? There's no reason for me to give a yellow card here. It's a very common misconception that if you stop the goalkeeper releasing the ball, that it's a mandatory yellow card, and that is not the case. Now, small caveat to that, we could give a yellow card here for persistent infringement as it's his 5th foul, but in the game I was under the impression that I've given a yellow card after his 3rd foul, and so that almost kind of resets. Not to the same level, but 2 fouls for me is not then again persistent, so I can give him a yellow card. I'm not thinking this is his 5th foul, I'm thinking this is his 2nd offence after the yellow, and it's not a mandatory yellow card. Obviously, everyone expects me to send him off here. For me, that is not the right thing to do. A final warning, as you can see with my body language, is the best thing to do here, and that's what I did. The red team then substitute him off because they know that he's on the final warning, and you'll see that the blue team obviously are blaming me for the fact that he's been subbed off, that I would argue that I've managed the situation well, and it's good tactical awareness from them to bring him off because they know he's on a final warning. Really interesting situation. Let me know what you guys think and what you would have done in this situation, because it's a very, very niche one. We then get probably the biggest decision of the match, a potential red card for DOGSO. Let's take a look. So why didn't I give a red card here? As the ball comes over the top, I have to break right because the long balls come too quickly and I don't have time to break round left. So I've had to break right to try and get an angle. From the challenge, you can see that contact is foot to foot. So for me, serious foul play was off the cards. It wasn't even something that I thought about. It was just a reckless challenge. You'll notice that the striker gets to the ball first, right? So he makes that touch on the ball first. For me, in real time, as the striker has taken that touch, I don't believe that he's going to get to that ball in time and regain control of the ball. And when we think about DOGSO, denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity, there are 4 things that we have to consider. 1 is the distance from goal. Now, obviously he's on the edge of the box, so it meets that criteria. 2 is defenders. Are there any covering defenders? And you'll be able to see from this freeze frame that he has passed all of the defenders currently. 3 is direction, so the general direction of play. Is play going towards goal? Well, his touch is slightly away from goal, but it's still in the general direction towards goal. And then control. Does he have control of the ball? And is he likely to regain control of the ball? For me, this was in doubt. And if I'm going to give a red card for DOGSO, there for me needs to be no doubt when I'm going through the criteria of what meets DOGSO. There'll be lots of you that agree, there'll be lots of you that disagree, as I've sent this to a few people and it's really split the room. Whether the decision is right or wrong, I don't think we'll get to. My observer believed it was a red card, my mentor and my coach believed it was a yellow card, and then I've shared it with a few referee groups that I'm part of and they're pretty much split.
So for context, I'm a level 5.
Yeah.
But we had a shortage of refs. So this is a step 6 game, which a level 4 would typically do. It's my first game with assistants as well.
Yeah. So nice long ball.
I'm intrigued now if you went red or yellow.
Red.
No, I gave yellow, and that's the other coach saying no way,
Got you.
he's still on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then I pull the captain aside and basically basically explain.
So this is interesting because I think there is a perception in football that when the keeper commits a foul outside the box, people always expect a red card.
Yeah.
And that is why the people here expect a red card.
Yeah.
However, you still have to fulfill all of the criteria for DOGSO.
Yeah.
So for DOGSO here, you have to have the ball under control and heading towards goal. And here, this is a heavy touch.
Yeah.
Really far out wide. I think the attacker's going to struggle to control that ball before it goes out of play.
We had a lot of comments to say the attacker's only taking a heavy touch because the goalkeeper's coming out.
Yeah.
What would your response be to that?
Well, he's trying to, you could argue he's trying to buy the foul because he can see the keeper coming out. I mean, if he takes a small touch and the ball just drops to the other side, it's a clear red card.
Yeah.
So you never know what's in the mind of the attacker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think they're determined to score a goal, sometimes you think he might want to take the foul and have the chance of his opponent being reduced to 10 men, but I just think the ball goes out of play so quickly there. For me, yellow is correct, but I understand why people in football think red card.
And then, so on the one thing you touched on then, obviously, goalkeepers come out flying out, I guess, as well. He's not committed an offence until he's actually touched the striker, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that he's caused the striker to take a big touch is irrelevant because he's not fouled him yet.
He's not done anything until that moment. So you take the snapshot at the point of the foul.
Yeah.
For me, from that moment, the touch is heavy, so yellow is correct.
Cool. Appreciate
But
it.
that's why we love football, right? Because it's debatable and all subjective.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Sean. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
No problem.